This is what it's like to be in Republican governance right now. Not to be a Republican candidate for office, but to be a Republican governor who is in office and responsible for making policy. If you are, for example, Governor Sam Brownback of Kansas, and you've governed the way that he has governed, signing into law some of the most extreme anti-abortion measures in the country last year, with more on the way this year, if you are Sam Brownback, your Facebook page right now is full of questions like this, quote, "Do you have a crossword puzzle book I can have for in-between pregnancies? Seeing as I can't do too much walking around holding this aspirin between my knees." Or this one, "Governor Brownback, I just need to ask one more question. Do you think it's true that 100% of pregnancies in the state of Kansas were caused by men? And if so, do you have a proposal to deal with them? Thank you so much for your time and expertise." How about this one? "Governor, I am currently 4 years into perimenopause. What's the best option for my husband to get sex from now on, since sex with me would be pointless? And he is, after all, still ripe with untold millions of children that should not go to waste." Or this one, "Governor Brownback, I have a rash on the back of my hand. Please let me know when I can come over and you can look at it and prescribe some medication for it. It's very uncomfortable. Thank you. I look forward to hearing from you." The folks at BuzzFeed posted a roundup of some of the best comments from Governor Brownback's Facebook page this week. These were some of my favorites, but there are hundreds of others like this. And even those, the ones up there still, are just the ones the governor's staff hasn't deleted yet, but they have been deleting as fast as they possibly can. Governor Brownback, however, is not alone in having a Facebook page full of satire/protest right now. Here's Virginia Governor Bob Ultrasound McDonnell's Facebook page. Quote, "Hi, Bob. I just wanted to let you know what's going on since you've been so concerned about my reproductive organs. This is day 2 of my period, so sometime soon I'll need to report that an egg was denied its right to achieve personhood. Is there a form for that or a number I should call?" How about this one? "How does forcing women to have ultrasounds create jobs?" Or this one, "Mr. McDonnell, thank you for your deep and interest in the nether regions of America's women. Is it safe to assume that your office will be involved in GYN investigations of all women? Or will you be targeting only those in peak childbearing years?" Pennsylvania Governor Tom Corbett, he's dealing with the same treatment. Quote, "So proud to have a governor willing to take over my personal health-related decisions. Not all women can be so lucky." This is what it's like to be a Republican governor right now, when you have governed the way this year's Republican governors have governed. Governor Corbett of Pennsylvania woke up this week to the Democrats sending out a blast email petition about him. It said, quote, "If you're a woman who opposes mandatory ultrasounds, Republican Pennsylvania Governor Tom Corbett has a suggestion for you. You just have to close your eyes." Close your eye? Governor Corbett have no shame? Does blankety-blank politician have no shame? It's like boilerplate partisan hyperbole, right? Who knows about his shame? But you know, Tom Corbett of Pennsylvania, the governor there, seriously did say that thing about closing your eyes, about how you should just close your eyes if you don't want to look at the screen that's being forcibly positioned in your sightline during a state-mandated medical procedure that he, Tom Corbett, governor of Pennsylvania, says you have to have. He wants to make this law. The forced ultrasound bill that has been kicking around the Pennsylvania legislature this session is one of the most extreme in the country. It includes language like that likely mandates transvaginal ultrasounds in most cases because of the time of pregnancy for most abortions and what the ultrasound has by law to show. The bill forces doctors to position the screen in front of a woman's sightline while the procedure is being performed, and it requires a printout of the image to be filed away in the woman's medical records, even if she does not want that. This bill is stalled in Pennsylvania, in part because the State Medical Association is telling Republicans to butt out of the doctor's office. But since it's stalled, and it's not like, on his desk or anything, he doesn't have to be making a decision about it right now, Governor Tom Corbett of Pennsylvania could just avoid talking about this. But no. Asked about the bill this week, he just decided he was going to go for it.
I wouldn't change it as long as it's not obtrusive. But we're still waiting to see.
I mean, making them watch and speaking, does that go too far in your mind?
I don't know how you make anybody watch, okay, because you just have to close your eyes. But as long as it's on exterior, not interior, okay.
Ladies, relax. And at work here. Don't mind Governor Tom Corbett's state government physically probing you against your will and shoving a screen in front of your face, just close your eyes. And there's two things that are important here. The first thing that's important here is that he says it's external, not internal. He doesn't know what to do with his hands for that one. But he's wrong. It would actually require transvaginal ultrasounds. Something else is important here.
But as long as it's on exterior, not interior?
I don't know. It is interior. The way the bill is written, it would require vaginal probe ultrasounds for most women. Republicans in Kansas, it's fascinating. We're seeing people talk about these ultrasound bills, as if none of them are transvaginal ultrasounds. Remember, that's what they tried to say in Virginia. Republicans tried to say that we're not requiring that. Democrats called them on it, and the governor weighed in and said you have to change this bill. But the Republicans keep explaining that they don't actually know what's in their bills. They're not doctors. They're not OBGYNs. So they tried to get all detailed about it, but it just shows the ignorance of these medical procedures that they are mandating as politicians, which is kind of the point. Republicans in Kansas this week dropped their own twist on the forced ultrasound, a requirement that doctors would be directed by the state to employ a Doppler handheld fetal monitor on a patient, even if it was against the patient's wishes and against the doctor's medical judgment. But guess what Kansas left in their new anti-abortion bill when they passed it out of committee this week? They left in a script written by the legislature that a doctor has to say to a patient. A script that includes saying that abortion is linked to breast cancer. Abortion is not linked to breast cancer. So says the American Cancer Society and the National Cancer Institute. But why would you listen to idiots like that when you can get your cancer information from Kansas Republican state representatives instead? They say there is a link. They heard somewhere. And if and when they pass this bill and Sam Brownback signs it, in Kansas, doctors will be violating the law if they don't read to their patients seeking abortions a false, medically inaccurate script written by the state legislature. The justification for this, State Representative Joe Patton says, quote, "We want women to be fully informed." Fully meaning including the false information. Oh, but wait, there's more. Fully informing Kansas women not only means lying to them about cancer. Under law, you have to lie to them about cancer. But it also means lying to women in order to trick them into doing something the woman doesn't want to do. This is so strange. This new Kansas Republican bill would block you from being able to sue your doctor if your doctor lied to you about your pregnancy, as long as your doctor lied to you about your pregnancy because he or she thought that telling you the truth about your pregnancy might make you want an abortion. So, in Kansas, under bill names designed to sound like they are empowering Kansas women, it is now both mandatory for your doctor to lie to you about one aspect of your future health, and it is legally protected for your doctor to lie to you about your current pregnancy. If you are a woman and you are pregnant, the government knows best. I don't know why they say Republican policy would be so alienating to women this year. Wow. The "it's okay for your doctor to lie to you" bill is actually picking up in popularity among red states. In Oklahoma and in a few other states, anti-abortion legislators have already made it legal for your doctor to lie to you, provided you are a woman and you're pregnant. Because you can't handle the truth, woman. You have to hand that over to the state government. Arizona has an "it's okay to lie to women" bill that has passed the Arizona State Senate, steaming its way through the Republican-led legislature en route to Governor Jan Brewer's desk. Also in Arizona, a Senate committee has party lines, obviously, a measure that the liberal blogs are calling the "tell your boss why you're on the pill" bill. And while that kind of sounds like a very liberal bloggy thing to say, it quite accurately describes what this bill does. This has already passed the Republican-led House in Arizona. This blows my mind. The bill would permit employers to ask their employees for proof of medical prescription if the employee seeks contraceptives for non-reproductive purposes. So Arizona Republicans are going to make you tell your boss if you are having sex but you're taking precautions not to get pregnant. See what the boss says about that. It's the law. You have to say. Over in Virginia, Democrats sent my friend Governor Ultrasound Bob McDonnell a letter this week asking him if now that his state government is forcing Virginia women to get ultrasounds they don't want and don't need, would he please consider not also forcing them to pay for it? The governor's office said, nuh-uh, we are happy forcing this thing on women and forcing women to pay for it at the same time. Republicans in the Virginia legislature also had a chance this week to not force Virginia women to pay for the ultrasounds that the Republicans are forcing them to get. Republicans in the Virginia Senate also said, nuh-uh. Bob McDonnell and Virginia Republicans really want women to pay for this forced procedure themselves. And Bob McDonnell is actually very mad about it. He's mad about Democrats suggesting there's something wrong with forcing women to pay for something that they don't want, that the state is mandating. His office is putting out a statement saying that this was, quote, partisan and petty. The statement ends with this, quote, I hope they are having a good time. You know, who wouldn't be having a good time, Governor Ultrasound, upon learning that your governor has not only ordered you to have this medical thing done to you, but he's ordered you to pay for the privilege. Governor McDonnell's snippiness, however, highlights not just his temperament, but also an interesting divide right now among Republicans, too. Republicans in the states are frankly just full steam ahead right now on this stuff. Women, the state is going to mandate ultrasounds for you. Your doctor is going to lie to you by state order. You have to tell your boss in detail about your sex life. It's the law. You have to. We are cutting off access to all that slutty birth control you want to use. If you think of it, they are doing it in Republican states. Then at the national level, and for state-level politicians who want to be thought of as guys on the national level, hi, Governor McDonnell, the implications of how all this sounds to women may finally be starting to scare them off a little, maybe. The New York Times reporting today that the anti-contraception bill, the Blunt-Rubio bill that Republicans were so fired up about a few weeks ago, that Scott Brown was going to run on in his race for re-election in the Senate in Massachusetts, that the Republicans were going to see sail through the House of Representatives, which they control, that's dead. At least for now. Republicans have decided not to move on it. Quote, it has been kicked up to the leadership, and they want a cooling-off period. Yes, I would imagine they do. In analyzing the Republicans' new birth control backpedaling, Talking Points memo brings us this bit of reporting today. Quote, one GOP strategist pegged the problem to Rick Santorum, who has become a national poster boy for right-wing views on women's health. Quote, we have definitely failed to make the contraception fight into an advantage. And I think Debbie Downer being the primary guy out there talking about this is part of why. Debbie Downer is an adorable nickname for Rick Santorum, but here, come on. You guys may think this is a Rick Santorum problem, but you wish at this point. This is an every red state in the country problem. Even if Rick Santorum did not exist, God forbid, you would still have to be trying to explain Bob McDonnell. And Kansas forcing doctors to lie to women about breast cancer. And Arizona trying to force you to tell your boss why you're on the pill. Or Pennsylvania and the vaginal probe bill. This is not a Rick Santorum problem. This is a Republican problem. This might be the Republican problem of 2012. Joining us now is Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky of Illinois. Congresswoman Schakowsky, it's great to see you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Rachel. I have a great idea. I think every woman voter should be required to see these 13 minutes of what you just said before they vote. What do you think?
See, if I was this is why I will never run for office, because I'd be the kind of tyrannical governor who would say that, yes, that's the law, and I am going to make you watch. That would
but it'll be free. You won't have to pay for it.
That's fair enough. That'd be the moderate thing about me.
That's right.
In terms of what's happening with this in Washington, do you think that at the federal level at least, and for state level Republicans who have federal ambitions, do you think that they are changing their mind about this, that they're having second thoughts?
Well, I think that there certainly has been a backlash. I don't know if they're getting emails quite as clever as some of the governors that you read from, wonderful women who are writing those clever things. But I definitely think that women have been expressing themselves and know in certain terms that they are not going to accept going back. They're not going to accept these ridiculous restrictions. I mean, imagine the idea of having to tell your boss that you are using birth control not to control birth, but for some acceptable medical condition. It's ridiculous. And so women see on the horizon at the federal level, too, that this may just be the beginning and we've got to stop it right now. And Republicans are beginning to get a little scared.
It is really interesting, though, to see the divide between Republicans in the states and the kind of, I think, Republican awakening that you are hinting at there. Certainly that we've seen Republicans backing off some of these issues in Congress. I mean, the Jan Brewers and Bob McDonnells and Tom Corbetts of the world, they are really steaming ahead with this. I mean, Sam Brownback said when he was asked about this current bill that's going through the legislature if he would sign it, and he said, I haven't read it, but I'm sure I will. I'm paraphrasing what he said. I said that I would sign anything pro-life that got to my desk. I wonder, do they have a different calculus on these things?
You know, for the moment they do. But you've had on your show, and others have, some of these wonderful state legislators, women, who are speaking out. And I think that what you see happening at the federal level is going to catch up with these governors at the state level as well. The absurdity of some of these proposals and laws now. We have many of them enacted into law when women have to be subjected to these kinds of non-medical, suddenly we've got OBGYN legislators telling doctors what to do. I really do think that there will be a backlash at the state level, too, that's going to, I think, unelect some of the legislators who have proposed these crazy laws, and I think the governors, too, are going to feel the heat. I can't imagine anything else.
I know that this morning I was told that you were at a protest with Planned Parenthood supporters outside of Mitt Romney's campaign stop in Rosemont, Illinois. What was that like?
Well, that's in my district, and we decided to help greet the Romney supporters, if not Romney himself. We had the president of Planned Parenthood of Illinois and myself, and about a dozen women holding signs that says, "Keep your mitt off our birth control," and lots and lots of media out there with us, just to continue to send the message that we're simply not going to go along with Mitt Romney, who said that he's just going to stop funding. What did he say? He's going to end Planned Parenthood, get rid of it. Those were his words. And just kind of a flip comment. Oh yes, we're going to get rid of it, meaning he was going to defund the $75 million, which is 0.002% of the federal budget from Planned Parenthood.
Heading into that Illinois primary, it has been strange to see Mr. Romney try to outflank Rick Santorum on the right, saying Rick Santorum is too liberal on issues like reproductive rights, and Mitt Romney wants to be seen as more right-wing than Rick Santorum on these issues. What do you think that's going to do to the Illinois vote?
Well, the problem for Mitt is he needs to double down on this, because in 2002 he actually sought the support of Planned Parenthood when he was running for governor. So I think he feels like he needs to prove himself by even moving more to the right. It'll be very interesting to see, Rachel, how this plays out in Illinois. We have a somewhat of an upstate, downstate difference in the voters. But the other thing about Illinoisans and Chicagoans is they like authenticity. Illinoisans and Chicagoans is they like authenticity. We're a pretty straightforward bunch here, and I'm not sure if Mitt Romney, with the fakiness that he projects, it will be attractive to the voters here.
Democratic Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky of Illinois. Thank you so much for your time tonight, ma'am. I really appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Not all Friday nights are created equal. A candidate for the all-time single most ridiculous, hysterical, upside-down, paranoid attack on the President of the United States we have yet seen from the right is coming up. Plus, the one and only Louis Black is our special guest for the interview tonight. Stay with us.